Bloodborne. I don't know where you left off at, so
I
continue.
think it was like, or RPG was talking about opening shortcuts last time. I think it came out last week, right?
Yeah.
It came out, last week.
Yeah. So I was trying to open these shortcuts to get to the boss faster without having to go through. You have to kill a lot of villagers if you die a lot, because there's
Or
that.
you could just run past them.
Well, I don't really know what's going on with the story yet, but they seem deranged and need to be
You're not
put
gonna find it
down.
out by killing them.
They need to be put down. And so I went through all of that and over and over and over and over again, and it took me a long time to figure out how to open this first shortcut because I wasn't breaking any barrels and things like that. I just thought that was for the villagers to do crazy things and like bust through barrels and be like, "Aha, surprise!" But no, actually, you can break
They
them.
like to surprise people.
And yeah, that's how I found the path over to open that first shortcut. It's like, oh my gosh, that took hours and hours. And so finally I opened that one, and it just made everything so much easier. And so finally I could get to the boss pretty easily without having to kill tons and tons of stuff to get there. And then I was like, now I have no idea how to fight this thing.
Wait, which boss? Because there's two in that first area, and only one of them is actually required.
I think it's the not required one then. It's the big wolf looking thing with the arm.
Oh. Yeah, he's not
the furry
required.
arm, yeah. Because after I beat it, I was like, yes, progression, here we go. And then so I went back to Hunter's Dream, upgraded. Oh, and I found out I could upgrade. I didn't know I could upgrade. Because I was like totally unupgraded while I was trying to do all this. And then finally I realized that, oh, that's what the blood echoes are for. They're like money.
You don't actually get to upgrade until you have at least one insight, so you wouldn't know until after you had actually discovered one of the bosses.
Well, like I could also
back.
buy armor from the little pond thingy.
Don't waste your money on that.
Oh, really? Too late.
You'll find more stuff.
See, the thing
besides,
was, every time you
none of the
die,
horror
you lose all the stuff, right? And I think if you quit the game, you can never get it back. Is that right?
What? No, it's fine. Everything's there as long as you don't die twice.
Oh, okay. In that case, I don't know what I did. Well, I don't know. I had this idea that, oh, if I leave the game, if I die and I leave the game, then I can't get my blood echoes back.
No, but it pretty much just saves you exactly where you are if you leave the game.
Oops. So I was just like basically spending everything I could get. Every time I went back, I would spend it all. I was playing it like Rogue Legacy, where basically if you don't spend all of your gold before you go back into the castle, then you just lose it all. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to spend everything. So I bought all the new armor. And then, yeah, later I was like, oh, I can upgrade. And then so I spent all of it on upgrading.
Armor's mostly useless. You pretty much only use it to make your character look how you want, because your defense stat is governed by your level ups. So it's pretty worthless. That's why most people are just running around wearing whatever they want, because I mean the goal is to not get hit anyway. So
that's true.
Like, you don't have shields or anything.
Wait. So in this game, none of your gear is useful at all.
I mean,
it does
defensive
change your
gear.
stats a little bit. Like there's like different resistances or something.
It's barely noticeable. Like I said, most people just run around wearing what they want, because like since there's no shields or anything or any poise stats and stuff in this game, the goal is really to work on your evasion and like predicting the enemy's movements kind of thing. So you're pretty much not supposed to get hit. So it's pretty much we all just go around looking like just trying to look cool, because like I'm wearing like a knight get up. That's I mean the stats on it aren't better than, they're actually worse than the armor I was using initially, but I mean I like how I look in it, so I don't care. And I mean my defense stat is high enough where I can tank most powerful hits, so I can just heal myself and be okay. So it's like no one actually buys armor in that game other than to look cool. So
well then at least I got that, because I was wearing like a poncho and slacks and suspenders or something.
Well, you get a hunter. you get a hunter set in the first level from once you go into the sewer to get towards the actual required boss.
Oh.
So you would have had that.
See, I never went down there yet. I just
Well,
went
you
down
have
there
to.
recently
It's the only way you can.
because I didn't know.
boss.
Well, because I saw that path before and I was like, I think I'll look around up here first. And I went around up top and then I found that other boss and I was like, oh man. And man, I just brute forced my way through that one because I could not really figure out what was going on. Yeah, it's been pretty messy the way I've been playing through it so far. I was much better at dodging like that first day after I fought all that stuff barehanded.
That's when you were actually playing properly.
Yeah, that's when I was doing okay. And then these past few days, I was starting to get frustrated. I was like, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. And then it felt like, well, you know, that mechanic where you get health back after you get hit if you're able to hit them soon enough. It's like, oh, this is really convenient. And sort of, it was kind of working. Like, I was able to get through
That's
just
how they
like
go do it to traps.
eating a hit and then killing them.
Yeah, you don't want to play like that in later areas because that will get you killed.
Well, it didn't work on the boss quite as well.
Yeah, and that too. Yeah.
But I had a ton of blood vials at this point. It was like, whatever. Let's just kill it. And I used a whole bunch of blood vials and got through it saying, yay. And I went back to Hunter's Dream, and then I came back to the checkpoint. It's like, all right, let's go on. I was like, this door doesn't open. Neither does this one. It's like, am I missing the way to go again? And I looked around. I was like, oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. This one does not get me anywhere. I have to go find another boss now.
Optional. But well, semi-optional, I guess. I mean, the thing is, like, even with the optional bosses, they usually drop badges for you so they unlock like weapons and stuff for you to buy back in Hunter's Dream. Although I caution against that too, because you'll find a lot of them in the environment as well. So you might want to save your blood echoes on that too, because like you can find the saw cleaver in one of the parts in the upper sewers, and then there's like you can find a lot of the weapons and armor sets and stuff. So it's you might want to just be cautious of spending your money on buying stuff or spending your echoes on buying stuff and use it more to level yourself up, because you'll if you buy something and then you inadvertently find it and you're like, well crap, I could have saved that and used that on something, because a lot of stuff is actually pretty expensive. So if you spend it and then you find it later, then it's like, well, I could have saved those 18,000 blood echoes for something else. So.
I was looking at something. I think it was a weapon. I was like, oh, it's like 10,000. It's like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna go level up now. So that's good to know that I accidentally made the right choice there. Not that I had the blood echoes yet, anyway.
So it worked out then.
Yep. Yeah, my first encounter in the sewer was basically I found this sort of small path on top of this like scaffolding, and there were like hanging bodies they're like hanging on chains, and I was like,
oh yeah,
how am I supposed to?
Where the saw cleaver is.
Okay, so
I saw one of those bodies.
I almost saw it. Yeah, because I was walking around and I saw them on the chains. Like, how come I can't search it? It's like, oh, I probably have to cut them down or something. And I just haphazardly hit attack, and I cut the chain, but I also fell off. And I was like, oh my gosh! I was like, oh, whew, fall damage is not so bad. And then, like,
except for all the rats that are down there.
2 giant rats killed me in one hit. I was like, oh man. I was like, well, that's enough Bloodborne for today. It's good to know that the blood echoes will still be there. If I can get
They will. Provided you can get there and not die.
Yeah, and kill those rats. I think I
kind
like
of telegraph their attacks though, so you should like once you get back to them, like try to goad them into doing that lunge attack that they like to do. They usually like stand up on their hind legs, and it's like really obvious that they're about to do it, and you could just use that as a way to like get around and hit them so you can kill them easier. Because Otherwise, they'll just if you just try to stay close to them, they'll just keep doing like that gnaw attack that'll just kill you instead of actually, opening themselves up for attack.
See, actually, I didn't even see them. I fell down and I was looking in a different direction, and I was, he didn't like fall and just fall flat on his face. He did sort of a cool Iron Man style landing, and I was like, oh, that was cool. And then I heard something. I was like, what was that? And I started to spin the camera, and then I died. And then finally the camera spun around, and I saw 2 rats there. I was like, those are some big rats. I was like,
They are quite large.
It was a very comedic end to my Bloodborne play session. Yeah, I think I like it more than Demon Souls, actually. Just, I think it's the setting.
Dark Souls is better.
Yeah, like, well, setting-wise?
I mean, as an overall game.
Oh, then all of them?
Yeah.
I would not know. Well, not really. But yeah, Bloodborne, I like the setting, or like the world is more interesting to me. When they first showed Demon Souls way back in the day, it just seemed like a really dark sort of medieval type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not very interesting to me. And I think most people thought it was just going to be some weird Japanese game that's going to flop, and it didn't. And it was very surprising. And that's sort of why I got it. It's like, okay, so what about this is so interesting? And playing it's like, oh, this is
unforgiving.
It's not really unforgiving. It's sort of,
Or it doesn't tell you anything. It's just like, go play.
It's kind of old school. It's like, go play. If you die, you'll probably have to make up a bunch of the progress that you made. But this is a
like,
modern
go
game,
play,
so when you die,
and if you F up,
fair.
it's all your fault.
At least you'll know why.
Well,
Or I guess if you F up more than
fault,
once, it's your fault. Doing the same thing.
It's like, didn't you learn the first time? No, I did not.
But Bloodborne, like, the world is very different than.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's like, I'm kind of, my thing is, I don't know. I'm like kind of iffy on Bloodborne because it's like well, I guess I could talk about it now. I mean, because you're already talking about it anyway. But it's like my thing is like I like the idea of what they were doing by moving it into does that count as slightly more modern? Because I don't know how eras work. I'm not like a history buff, so
I guess they have guns. So
yeah, I was also about to say they have guns, so that must be slightly more. So I mean, like, I like the idea of like moving away from, I guess, the more fantasy. I mean, it's technically still I don't know. Either way, it's like slightly more modern or whatever, and it's like I kind of like the setting and the atmosphere and everything, but at the same time, it kind of like, I don't know if it's because of the particular like theme they're going for, but like there's a lot of stuff in the game that is like less interesting than like the previous games, because like in the beginning, well, you're not that far yet, so you don't know yet, but it's like a lot of the earlier bosses are pretty much just all some version of a wolf kind of thing. And for me, I was kind of just like, this isn't as good, because like the bosses in the previous games is like you have like all kinds of random kind of
weird stuff.
So it's like
spiders with laser beams.
Like spiders with laser beams. So it's like, but then you go into this game and it's like, and everything, like all the early stuff is pretty much like some version of a werewolf in some type. It's just like they'll either have like some quirk where one is just poison or one has electricity, but they're all like wolves in some way, shape, or form. So it's kind of just like, I don't know. But I mean, it fits with the theme of the game with the whole blood curse thing going on and the whole moon theme and everything. So yeah, they're gonna have like a lot of werewolves and stuff. But then I've started, well, at the point I am in the game, it's like they started like kind of like switching up some of the enemies and stuff now. So it's like some of the enemies are a bit more interesting, and they've introduced some otter bosses and stuff, so it's not like they're not all wolves and stuff now. So it's like, okay, this is somewhat better, I guess, because it's like, but like I said, it kind of fit into their whole theme. So at the same time, I was like, well, I can't knock it for them actually committed to the thing, but at the same time, I don't know if it's like, it's kind of hard. It's like I don't know I don't know if I'm okay with it or not because I'm like it's somewhat interesting, but at the same time, if everything's the same, it's not really interesting. So I don't know. So I was kind of like going back and forth because I was like, I don't know. But then it's like, yeah, there's some more interesting things going on with the mythos and stuff, I guess. So it's okay, but they've also kind of been a bit more hold backy on stuff like that than the previous games. So
Hmm.
it's a bit more difficult to piece stuff together than it was before.
Yeah, I guess even the regular enemies in Demon Souls, there was a bunch of variety even in the first part, which is
Yeah.
basically the only thing I saw.
Yes. But yes, that is the case. And in this one, it was pretty much just like the villagers.
Yeah, I was
And
like, well, there's this guy with the
so,
pitchfork, and this guy with the axe and the torch, and then there's the guy with the axe and the other sharp thing, and then the guy with the slab of wood and the torch, and and then there's these vaguely dog-looking things, and then slightly bigger ones that look more like werewolves, and then a much bigger one that also looks like a werewolf.
yeah, so it's kind of just like, I don't know. It's like they had a lot more variety in this one. But I mean,
And
as the game
Solomon
is,
Grundy.
and so yeah, that is kind of like out of it.
It was weird. He's holding a brick or a cinder block, and you think he's gonna throw it, but he never
He is
throws it.
He punches you with it,
He punches you with a cinder block.
which is the logical thing to do if you're
This is
holding a
really
cinder block.
weird.
But yeah, it's kind of just like, I don't know. I mean, like I understand, like it makes sense given the curse that's going on in this one is, the whole beasthood thing, but it's like, I don't know. They lacked variety. But then I mean later bosses and I mean other stuff that's going on, they kind of it kind of shifts into a more horror-esque. I mean, I guess technically it was before in the first place, but it's like once there's like a certain point because like Gamer and I were playing and we beat like this. He's not really a spider. I mean, they call him like his title refers to him as being a spider, but the boss is definitely not a spider. Like if you saw him, it's like someone might want to go back to biology because this is not a spider. So. I mean, he has like little minions that he summons that are spiders, but he himself is not a spider. So he is a lie, is what he is. He also makes ice meteors rain from the sky, so that spiders cannot do that. So
Magic.
yes, it is. But yeah, after we beat him, like the moon turns red and makes like the sky all weird looking and stuff, and it causes like all these not decidedly pleasant things to happen in the world. So the big Cthulhu spider things that are hanging out on buildings, which are terrifying to look at. So they're fun since they're everywhere now, and they're massive. So they also can make black holes, which is kind of disturbing. And they actually, which I apparently said creatures were actually invisible this entire time, and they were always there. You just couldn't see
Wow.
them.
That's terrifying.
That's
terrifying.
Exactly. Because it's like there's a couple of points in the game where it's like if you're standing in certain places, like a black hole will just appear out of nowhere, which kind of caught me off guard before. Because like I was going to pick up an item over by like this gate, and then I see like something whirling in the air, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" So I like dived out of the way real quick. But then I checked like somebody's specter thing of them dying, and it shows them like getting hurled through the air, and I was like, what the hell is this thing? So but I mean, come to find out, like later on after this point, when you actually see them like moving around and stuff, you can see they're the ones actually creating the black holes, and it's like, oh well, this is fantastic. So they've been here this entire time, you just couldn't see them. So that is a terrifying thought, because they are very not pleasant looking creatures, and it's like, oh well, this is just wonderful because you're everywhere. So, yes. So it gets a lot less pleasant. So, yeah.
See, like, that sounds kind of neat to me. I mean, I imagine there was weird stuff happening in Dark Souls and Demon Souls as well later in the game. But just, first impression is just looking at the world type. Say, this reminds... it sort of reminds me of like Folklore. There was that old PS3 game.
Mhm. I have that.
But like darker than that. It kind of reminds me of like the village parts in Resident Evil 4, and kind of also like the original Devil May Cry a little bit. So it's like a mixture of these different sort of goth horror,
Yeah.
but also a little bit of like grim style fairy tale feeling.
Like I said, I mean, it gets more interesting later. It's just at the beginning, though, it's just kind of like between the frustration and everything pretty much being like so similar. It's kind of just like, I don't know if I like this. So it's kind of.
It was very slow going, just because mostly because I didn't know anything. Like the game really doesn't tell you much of anything, and even the specters, or I don't know if it was like network errors. Like often I would try to look at a specter and then there would be nothing. It was like view specter, view specter. It's like, okay, so I can't view any specters here, and I could only
kind of glitch or something, because like it's happened to me before too, where it's like it'll say view and I'll click it, but then nothing will happen. I'm like, okay. And then,
like the only specters I've been able to view consistently are the ones in Hunter's Dream, which is sort of weird. Like it's making me kind of paranoid. Like some of them, the guy's just like,
because I'm always like,
then he dies.
I'm like, how did you die?
Like,
yeah, and I'm just like,
wait,
nothing here is hostile.
Yeah, like if I leave the controller for a little while, like I have to go to the bathroom, am I just gonna die? So I basically like Bloodborne is very hard for me to play because I can't have any distractions really, and then even that, like, when I'm by myself and I finally have some time to play, it's like, if I have to go and do something real quick, am I just gonna die standing in Hunter's Dream? Because I've seen that happen to a lot of specters.
Yeah, because I was trying to like, because I'll see like the gravestone, I'm like, what is killing you? There's nothing here. So like I'm like all paranoid and I'm worried, because it's like I'm
really paranoid. The one I saw was the guy was just standing in front of the workbench. And it was like, it just showed him standing there, and then suddenly he died. I was like, is there a time limit to use the workbench?
Does it like self-destruct if you're standing at it?
Maybe it was a network connection error or something.
I hope that was it, because otherwise it's like, it's some serious paranoia fuel. So it's like, oh my god, there's something trying to kill me here.
Okay, I'm gonna fortify this weapon when I run over there, and then just run away and go back to.
Because even like I said, in the wake of these, like the Cthulhu spiders just appearing now I'm like, now I really am paranoid, because it's like, well, these things were always here and I couldn't see them, so now I'm like, well, something else could just be hiding anywhere and I don't know it. So it's just now I'm just overly paranoid about everything now.
Scary.
I actually think I posted a picture of the Cthulhu spider things on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
my shit.
Saw that one. Or I didn't know what I was.
I didn't know I was looking at either. Like, what is this?
I was like, I think I like them better invisible. I was like, which part?
Because they semi blend into, like, you would have to see them like in motion.
Like what it is. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to see, because he's like. He is not, because it's like, it's on the side of the building and you can kind of see it if you look closely to the right side of the picture, but it's like kind of blends into the picture if you don't see it like moving. So it's just
that is not something I want to see in motion. So
yes, they also move around. So it's a fun paranoia going on, because it's like, yay, they're everywhere. Because apparently they always were. So.
Wow. Well, something to look forward to way, way, way down the line then. Yeah, I've resolved to sort of just kind of slog through the game. So it will take me many, 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 many deaths. And just sort of almost farming, I guess. I'm gonna go through and just like get the blood echoes I can, and then go back and upgrade, and then do that some more.
I wish I could help you, but my character is far too high level to be summoned by you now. Because I had to like force Gamer to power level so we could play together. Because he was like,
Oh,
our levels were way too different. And I was like, okay, I could just stop leveling up, and you'll have to go up like 15 levels, and we can do this. So, but I was paranoid I was going to lose all my blood echoes because I had like 170,000 at one point, and I was like, it's going to take one death, and I'm going to be pissed. To hurry up and level up.
well, I will see. Probably not, but maybe. Yeah, like just looking at the number of games, especially like episodic stuff coming out, I was like, it's very. There's just so much of it. I finished episode 3 of Walking Dead season 2. Got to see me do all of that stuff again, and the end of that one, it's like, wow, that was really an effective scene at the end. But I don't really remember why I did a certain action in that part. It didn't feel right this time. It was like, well, I know I picked this, but I'm not sure why I did that. So whatever. This is just supposed to be a recreation of the first time. Life is Strange episode 1 I finished. That's a weird game.
I thought you already played that.
Weird. What do you mean by that, Tropical?
Well, it's like, it's sort of normal stuff, and yet really abnormal stuff. Like, rewinding time is really strange.
Actually, I played episode 2. It's so weird what they do in that game. It's like they take... I don't know if I'm going to spoil it, but
Don't
like
spoil it,
they do
'cause
something in that episode, and it kind of... I'm not going to say it ruins the game, it just like... The way that they did it and like the pacing, it just was... I would say it's not well executed, and then it just... And like the negative reinforcement I got from it, because you have to make a decision in that context, and like stuff happens, and then I didn't make the right decision, and I felt like so terrible afterwards. I couldn't play anything else the rest of the day, and I was like, I was super depressed, and I was like, wow, thanks, Life is Strange. Thanks. You just built me up to tear me down. I feel great now.
Yeah, I was going to play episode 2 immediately after, but I realized I hadn't downloaded any of them yet. I was like, oh, dang. So I had to wait, and that was yesterday. But, yeah, I guess I'll wait and see. Oh, there's a cool part that I like about it where, like, Walking Dead has the percentages of, like, who did what in the world. Life is Strange has that for your friends list. So you can just see what your friends did, or, like, percentage among your friends. And I think for the most part, we've all done the same stuff. There were a few when I was, like, 25% and everyone else was 75%. So I guess only 3 other people on my friends list actually play the game. Or actually finished episode 1.
Well, in my defense, I'm waiting for the season pass to be on sale. And for the entire season to be out, because I don't like waiting.
So yeah, I think that's a cool feature. I'd like to see that in the Telltale ones.
Just one Tropical. Have you played any of the other... There's like a bunch of different games like this that are like the Sherlock Holmes, and like I've seen some other ones on PS3 on the PSN store, but I haven't played them or bought them. Have you like checked any of them out?
Like this, as in
the genre of like, okay, like to me it's like, I think of back when they would call Resident Evil like a walking simulator. Like I think of this as like a conversation simulator. So it's like,
is Sherlock Holmes a conversation simulator,
or just like the new style adventure game, I guess, whatever. It's like you just
isn't
walk around,
isn't it free
have
on
dialogue choices and like solve puzzles.
Isn't it free on PS3 right now anyway?
Yeah,
Sherlock Holmes one?
I haven't checked it out yet. I was really interested, actually. I saw the a preview of it or something, and it looked pretty interesting, the puzzle solving part. But no, I haven't seen any.
The other ones aren't episodic, but I'm not sure, because I think that's like what the hook is on the Telltale, and this one is like you have the crazy endings at the end of the episode. It's like, I gotta see what happens next. It's like, I'm not sure if the other ones are structured the same, so I'm not sure if I'd enjoy them as much.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I have a lot of episodes of stuff to play, like Resident Evil Revelations 2. I haven't finished any of those, and I think the whole season is out already.
Yeah, it is.
So that's done. Borderlands second episode came out. I haven't played that one yet. Game of Thrones is on episode 3 already, and I haven't played 2 or 3.
I need to play that.
So it's just like, there's just so much to play. And, well, I'm starting to hit my stride, actually, in Final Fantasy 9. So it seemed like, because I've actually gone 2 or 3 save points before stopping these past few times. Like, I'm starting to get into this, and I'm waiting to see. Like, I don't remember the story arcs at all, which is weird. Like, I remember moments, but I don't remember how they connected to each other. And like, now that I'm playing, it's like, it's weird. Like, it is all connected. I mean, not that I doubted it, but it's just like it's just surprising to see that. Oh, so that's why this was going on at that point. So yeah, like that's the I don't know what I want to finish right now on PS4. Like, I was sort of trying to finish Walking Dead season 2 because then I could delete that one and just keep the save file, and then I'd have more space. But then I don't just like looking at all the other episodic games, like, well, most of these aren't even finished yet, which means that even if I finish them, I can't delete them from my hard drive because I have to wait for the next episode.
See, it's funny, tragical, because I had like a similar experience where it's like I played Life is Strange episode 2, but it was such a downer. I was like, dude, I was gonna play the Telltale stuff, but I'm not even touching that stuff now because well, I can't. Well, like Walking Dead for sure, but it's like I played a bit of Wolf Among Us, but then it was raid time, so I was like, yeah, it'll be a while before I go back to Walking Dead because I just had a emotional day today, so I don't want to have any scars be opened or wounds opened. So yeah,
yeah, I'm very interested now.
It's like I
to
need an
see what
Uber
happens
palate cleanse from that one.
Because with Walking Dead, I sort of like everyone sort of has an idea.
Yeah, you know what to expect.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, it's the zombie apocalypse, and if you've been playing games for the last few years, like everyone has sort of thought, if there was a real zombie apocalypse, how would I be? Would I be one of the crazies, or would I be one of the people who's like, oh my god, everyone's crazy out here? And so you sort of, you have an idea of how you would react to these situations. But then Life is Strange is like, well, I've never been a teenage girl, and I've never been able to rewind time, and like neither of those things are something that I've ever thought about how I would be. And so since I've never been a teenage girl, then I've never been a teenage girl who left her girlfriend 5 years ago, and like stuff happened and all that. So like it's just completely foreign territory, and I've never lived in the girls' dorm, and so it's just like,
man, you're missing out on a lot of stuff.
I don't know how to react. I've never had to deal with mean girls. It's just like it's
worst
really
high school
weird.
experience ever.
I've just been playing kind of haphazardly almost. It's like, oh well, I can rewind time, which means that unless I don't see it coming, I am basically invincible, right? If someone shoots me in the front, then I can rewind time and then dodge the bullet.
I feel like you wouldn't be able to react fast enough if you got shot for that to be a thing.
I mean, it's hard. Like, what is the physics of rewinding time? It's like, who knows?
Well, I mean, since it doesn't exist, because it breaks physics.
So, yeah, like the choices that I'm making in Life is Strange is like, yeah, it feels very haphazard. Yeah, I guess that's the thing. Like, when you can rewind time, I guess that like consequences feel like they mean less because it's just like, well, I can just go back and change that.
Wait till you play episode 2, Chapter Cole.
Yeah, that's the thing. So now I'm like, now I'm interested to see what kind of mess I've made in episode 1 that carries over.
Cole.
So that's the cool thing about like Life is Strange is like it uses that mechanic, but then it does such a good job with like the choices and consequences of like, you still have like, you can't just be like, haha, I can rewind time. It's like, no, because yeah, these choices do matter, dude. You can only go back so far too. So yeah, there's that.
But see, like so far in episode 1, I don't think you get to see any of that yet.
Yeah, they did like a really good job with that in episode 2 though. So you should play it.
Oh my gosh,
you'll see it.
That's gonna be scary.
So I was like, oh man, if only I could go. Like, because there's a specific choice in episode 1 where it's like I didn't do something, and it's like if I would have did that, it would have helped me in episode 2. And I was like, oh, curses! I can't rewind that far. Ah.
Wow.
And I forgot to restart my second save file, and now I'm like, yep, I'm totally doing this. I'm going to have 3 save files for this game because it's already broke me, and I need redemption. So yeah,
the perfect playthrough.
it's like no.
Huh, that's exciting. And check that out as soon as I can. But yeah, I don't know what to play on PS4 right now. I'm just gonna play that. Oh, the second war in Helldivers is almost over. We've already defeated the bugs.
Yeah,
And
I
the
jumped
cyborgs.
on when we were fighting the Illuminate or whatever the robots are called. I mean the glowy Protoss people.
We're on their homeworld
And
now.
they got the trophy for that. That was nice.
We're on their homeworld. It's gonna be a few days. I think probably Friday afternoon, maybe. If we win.
If we win. And
That was
I
tough.
did one of the homeworld capital planet defenses. That was pretty cool because it does look different.
Yeah, those are fun. You get bonuses way faster. I tried to play Secret Ponchos, but no one is playing it, which makes me sad.
Oh no.
It makes sense. I mean, the experience of playing that game was not great. The game itself is pretty fun, but yeah, the wait times and the matchmaking is it's sort of a pain. And now more so than ever. I left it for like 20 minutes and I was like, oh, you didn't find anyone. You were kicked for inactivity. It's like, there was nothing to do. I had no choice. Sad. Did you pick up Axiom Verge?
I picked it up. I haven't played it.
Okay. It's getting rave reviews.
I know. I was so angry because I was like, Destiny. Oh, I'm so done now. And I played Life is Strange. I was like, I don't feel like playing anything now. Thanks, Life is Strange. I'm sad. Thanks. All day long.
It said you're welcome.
Wow.
That game. It broke me. I was like, Mass Effect. I was like, man, this game's getting me like on the levels like, yeah. It's like, yeah. These games. Why am I playing them? They just keep touching me in the feels. It's terrible.
Oh dear.
Yeah, Mass Effect 3, man. There was a few points I was like, oh.
Yeah, there's multiple parts in that game that just get to me every time. Every time.
Had no idea all that stuff would happen. And one was particularly shocking. I was like, oh my gosh. So, but yeah, I'm gonna ask Tech about those later. That's pretty much what I've been playing.
All right. Do you want to go next RPG?
I guess. So, I have been playing Bloodborne as I had mentioned earlier. I had actually decided to start doing some semi progress in the game because I just wanted to just get a little bit farther so I can get out of some of the earlier boss fights. 'Cause like I said, it's kind of like meh at the beginning, so I want to get to the more interesting stuff, and also there's more like mythos stuff going on, so that's better that way. So I usually spent like most of my time just like farming some of the bosses. So I just like after I beat them, I just like hang out or near like the boss lanterns, and then just like co-op with other people. I mean, I guess my thing with the whole co-op thing is like, for one, it kind of takes a while if you're like trying to do the matchmaking with a password, so you can like play with your friends or whatever. But the one benefit of the way they did it this time around is like, since the bells are always active once you activate them, it's like you can end up like jumping into a game I guess anytime if you just happen to cross paths with somebody. But I don't know, it's just it was slightly easier in the previous games, and all you have to do is just like, click on the soul sign and then it'll summon people to you kind of thing. So I don't know, it's kind of iffy, I guess, because even with like the invasion thing, it's pretty much, I guess now it's impossible to actually invade people without, or at least like the way it is now, like the chime, is that what they're called? I think so. They only show up if you summon somebody to you. So it seems like you can, and since the only way to actually invade somebody is to use your resonant bell with one of them, it kind of prevents you from ever being invaded unless they show up, which only happens whenever you summon somebody to you. So it's kind of just like, yeah, but it doesn't seem like anybody's actually using those builds. I think we only came across one invasion, and I was hoping one guy, and there were two of us there plus the guy who summoned us, and like it was the first time the first time I had seen anybody get invaded, and that was like the only time it had ever happened. So I don't know, maybe people just don't want to do PvP in this one or something, but I don't know. It, yeah, it's kind of disappointing because that was like half the fun of it, kind of thing. There's also a distinct lack of covenants for me to betray this time around, so it's like I don't have a bunch of covenants to jump around in, which was like kind of the fun part of Dark Souls. It's like, hey, I can join this covenant, I can do this, and some of them actually had like PvE and PvP like stuff going on. But in this one, either they're like really, really well hidden, or they just basically don't exist, which makes me sad because that's kind of something. I did find one, but it's like the only one I found so far. And that kind of makes me sad because that's like half the fun. And I mean, like in all of 5 minutes, I had betrayed them already. So I was like, well, now I've lost that covenant, and I have nowhere else to do because I've already got my guild leader killed. So I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm kind of sad, but what can you do? What can you do? But yeah, I've just been spending most of my time co-oping and stuff. Gamer and I actually we finally were able to like play last night, because like I said, I had stopped leveling up to try to wait for him to get high enough for us to like be able to play, because he apparently had like missed out on entire areas, because like we were talking the other day and he was like he asked like how to use the runes or something. I was like, well, you haven't fought the witch yet, because you have to beat her to get the tool for it. And he's like, what witch are you talking about? And apparently he had missed like an entire section of the game because it's like, how the hell, gamer, how the hell. So I had to walk him through that, so he got the thingy, and then after that, he once he finally got up levels, so we were able to play like the challenge dungeon. So we did that, but it takes a while, even if you're using like the password to do the matchmaking thing. So that was kind of annoying. So I don't know if they're gonna like update it to make it faster, or if that's just gonna be a thing because the way the network works or whatever. But yeah, it's kind of fun. We were able to go through the dungeons. Some of the enemies are a bit different because they have like invisible sword guys in the dungeons, and like some weird like guy who was just like standing behind a door when we walked in, and we was like, well, what the hell is that? And it's like, well, I'm not going in there. And it was like, I'm not going in there. So we were kind of just waiting, and then he just went ahead and like super attacked it, and it killed it. So it was like easy to kill, but it's like it was just standing there. It's like, well, I don't know what he does. He's just there, and it's like, do we just go in and hope he doesn't attack us? So it was weird, but they also have different bosses in there too, so that's kind of cool. So it's not like the same bosses that you encounter in a normal game, so you're able to do that. But other than that, I've been just co-oping, and I tried to farm there's this one boss at this one secret castle place that you can go to, and he's kind of difficult because he has like a lot of cheap attacks, which is, it's kind of just like there's not like a real, I guess, it's hard to describe, because like like for the most part for the game, there's like a lot of times enemies have like ways for you to like get around certain attacks, or like they have like openings so you can like attack them. But this guy, his melee attacks are pretty quick, and he also has like magic that's pretty powerful, so it makes it difficult to actually fight him unless you have like multiple people. So you have like one person distracting him while the other two kind of attack him while they focus on him, but it's like dangerous because it can get you killed. So it's kind of but he gives a decent amount of souls. So I've been just trying to help farm him, but it's not always easy. I also found the game's equivalent to magic spells, which is great because now I can be a mage again. Because I was disappointed at first because I was like, well, now I have this gun and these changing weapon things, and it was like I have no magic, so I'm sad. So, but I found a few of them that were are like the game's equivalent to it anyway, kind of. So it's good now. I feel slightly at ease now that I can make snakes come out of my body and stuff. So I was like, yay, I'm a semi mage now. So that makes me feel better at the moment, anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much on Bloodborne anyway. I started or I went back to Type Zero, and I mostly just been doing like the side quest task thingies. So it's just like mostly just like helping out people in town and stuff, like kill certain monsters or bring them back items and all these things and stuff that they asked for. So I was like, okay, I can do this because that's what Class Zero does. They run errands for everyone because that's what schools do now and things. So I don't know, but I haven't really done any like story progression stuff. So I've only like done the one mission in chapter 7 so far, but other than that, it's just be running around, just kind of doing stuff randomly and just like replaying missions and everything. So that's pretty much it.
So that's all you've been playing?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, for me, after the downer that was Life is Strange episode 2, I was like, well, it's time to dispense justice. And I was all like, let's do it, Batman. And Batman's been on my mind anyway because of all the new trailer, and I can't stop watching it and getting hyped, even though if it gets delayed again, I'm not gonna be happy. But so yeah, Arkham City. And I was playing on my computer, so it looks amazing. And then I was like, it was weird. I was on Steam and I was playing stuff like besides that, but I also went back and played oh yeah, Arkham Origins. Okay, it's long story short. I was looking. I don't know how I ended up doing this, but I was playing Batman. I guess I was playing Arkham City, and I was like, wasn't I doing something on Arkham Origins on my YouTube channel? And like, I guess I'd left this like walkthrough for like the Dark Knight system, blah blah blah, whatever. And like you have to get like, well, you like basically do stuff to get the what is it? It's like the worst nightmare, something something, world's greatest detective, blah blah blah. And I'd gotten all of them except for like the worst nightmare one. So I was like, why hadn't I gotten back and done this? I was like, I don't know. And so I I figured out like why I like stopped doing. Cause like I guess I needed to play farther, and I just left it. And I was like, whatever, I'll come back and do it. And I just never got back around and doing it. So I finally went back, played to the part I needed to play through, and I finally effing got the stupid worst nightmare. And then it's crazy because like all I got was a stupid costume, and I was like, all of this for a costume? Why was I doing this? And I was like, I don't even know. It's like it's been like over a year or something. I don't even know why I was doing this. Like why did I put myself through this? And it's like it must have been like more in the costume. So I got some trophies, but I was like, psh. All I got for like doing that was unlocking the costume. That was totally not worth it. So yeah, whatever.
But Tekken,
over a year later,
costumes.
It wasn't even that great of a costume. Like some of the DLC ones are even cooler. So whatever.
Oh.
And then it's funny because I wanted to see if I could use it in the online mode because I was like, well, maybe it's one of the online mode costumes. I can't even like change your costume in online mode when you're level 1. So I was like, that ain't happening because I'm not playing in any of this crap. So I guess I'll never see it if it's a online mode costume. But then I looked up online and I guess it is one of the ones I unlocked. But it doesn't even look that cool. I'm like, what? Whatever, not worth it. But yeah, played some Batman and it's still awesome. So I'm totally needing to compile a top 10 list now that I have my top 5, where Arkham City is going to be number 6 for a while until it gets dethroned by Arkham Knight.
Wait, but if you don't actually have a top 5, then how is?
No, I've had like a moving top 5 for a while. Just like it only occurred to me like after I was making my list like recently, and I had to like knock out Walking Dead, and I was like, I probably have enough games where I could like have at least 8 to 10 because that's like Walking Dead's not in it, Street Fighter's not in it, and then Batman's not in it, so that's 3 more. So just 2 more, that's it. So yeah, and whatever else was in there before before it was set as the 5 it's been for like a while. So but I don't remember what I threw out of there. So, but it's like just 2 more games. It's totally easy. I can just like come up with 2 awesome games I love all the time off the top of my head. So yeah, but let's see. Besides that, oh, dudes. Okay, so yeah, I was like playing something else on Steam. So okay, so basically we know the story. I like hooked up my computer to my TV and it looks awesome. But I was finally like figuring out how to like get it all set when I like was doing this final time around. I was like, okay, playing Batman, let me make it not look terrible, and then make sure everything's working. And I was trying to stream it like this morning or whatever. I was having issues because I like the little indicator thingy wasn't on the screen, so I thought I wasn't streaming, but I was streaming. But I ended my stream because I didn't think I was streaming, so now I'm like, oh, I was streaming. I just next time I know, I'll just keep going. But yeah, put in because I was okay. So this was like before the podcast, and we were waiting for Tropical, and I was like, well, no, we weren't waiting for Tropical yet. I was just playing something before the podcast because I was like, dude, I gotta play something because I don't want to just be sitting here waiting for the podcast to start. So I started, or I didn't start because I had already started playing this game a while ago, just didn't come back to it. And I've already played through it, whatever. It just looks amazing on PC. So Fall Cybertron, oh my gosh, like that game is like, to me, it's just like the game I go to when I want my Saturday morning cartoons that no longer exist. It's just, that game is like a perfect like example of like it's such a good fan service. It's just perfect fan service. I call this game because it's just like it does every character that it captures so good. It just does such a good adaptation of this like of the G1 in the video game form. It's just Starm Shaquem was in it like in the one part I played. It was great. It was like him and Shockwave had some banter. It's great. It was like, oh, it just brings me back. It just brings me back. It's great. It's magical, and it's like I love it. And then I got to play the cool part when you're Jazz and Cliffjumper and you fight the Insecticons. And there's that epic escape they make. Oh, it was so good. It's just I needed that. It was a great pick me up after the depressing Life is Strange episode 2 that I'm not going to talk about because it's such a downer. Go f yourself, Life is Strange, Square Enix. That happened. It ruined my week, and you know.
They published it. They didn't develop it.
Or whoever the developer, whoever you are, you know who you are. Yeah, naughty person. Oh yeah, so I finally played Home as well. That game, the RPG I was talking about last week. And unlike him, I do know. So yeah, I thought it was very interesting, and I enjoyed it. And
No, you didn't.
I like the whole like the things you do essentially. It's weird, but it's interesting, and I liked it because it's essentially, you know, the game is prompting you, but it's prompting you in like weird ways. It's not, and the weird like the way the player character that you have, it's weird 'cause you're thrown into it. You're thrown into it without any context, and so I'm playing the game, but I don't feel a connection between me and the character I'm playing. And he kept saying, you know, I did this or I did that, but then when he would say it, it would be like yes or no. Did I do this? Did I not do this? I was like, oh, I'm choosing and picking what I'm
Well, I
doing
think
here. So I thought that was neat.
well, I understand. Well, the way they did it, it almost seems like he's like remembering, or like he's going through his memery of or like he's trying to
Well, that's the cool
recount
thing. That's the cool
patterns
thing,
or
though. It's like
something.
it's ambiguous to where it's like it can either be you are like, yeah, I totally. You can just go along with it, or you can be like, no. Because when I was doing, I was like, well, what would I do in this situation? Like that's how I like played it the whole way through, and I was like, and then this is a cool part to the end where it's like you have this like super. You could like have it be super gruesome and evil, very obvious like way you want to end it, or be like, no, I didn't do that. And I was like, psh, I didn't do that, or I wouldn't do that if I was that dude. So I was like, or
You
my
totally
dude,
did.
if I was him, would not have did that. And then like I was like, well, the evidence doesn't really like, you know, come together here because it's like, why was his wallet here and his ID here and his credit card here?
Because he's obviously the culprit.
I don't
That's
know,
why.
dude. I don't think you just like randomly drop your stuff there in those places and it's just like, oh, I just left it there.
Um, when you're mass murdering people, you usually don't check to make sure you kept your wallet in your pocket while you're off running around killing people who get in your way. It's like, well, I can't have witnesses. Let me go murder you real quick.
And they never really explain the
So,
whole like when you wake up in the first room like with the old guy there. It's like, you know, what happened there? What's up with that? So, you know, yeah.
I don't know. I just think he's a crazy murderer guy,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah. He's just recounting his wonderful crime that he might have gotten away with because he's like, haha, I did it, and I'm moving out of town now, so no one will ever see me
I
again.
thought it was a neat little choose your own adventure style, but like not super. It's like so short you can just like, you know, do it over and over again, and then be like, oh, okay, that's
But you
neato.
won't.
And I saw there's even a trophy for like not even picking up any of the items along the way. So I was like, oh, I kind of want to do that to see what happens. So, huh. And I also want to do it again just to get like the bad ending, or I would call it the bad ending because I was like, I didn't do that because, you know, or my dude didn't do that. So yeah, because the part at the end when you pull the sheet off and it's like all first person pixely and there's nothing there. Well, there wasn't anything for me because I was like, no, it's not. I wouldn't do that. Oh, so yeah, it's neat. So now I'm all like, well, what happens if you say yes though? Is it all bloody and gross? And is that's why it's rated M? So I must
Yes.
find out. What else did I play?
You write the story.
Yeah, it's like it gives you like all this agency over like the choices that you make, but it's like not until you get to the end do you like. Well, I guess you could probably see it like. Well, I mean, before you get to the end, you're like, you like obviously go like aha, because I had like an aha moment, like oh okay, like towards the end, I was like oh this is cool because it's like I'm kind of like building the story here, so it's like I thought that's so neato. And I have like a stream of it, so it's like you get to like see my entire reactions the whole way through. Of like at first I'm like this game is weird. Like it just keeps going along and going along. Like oh okay, this is neat. This is interesting. It's like oh, and then my aha moment. I was like oh man, that's kind of cool. It's kind of weird, but yeah, I enjoyed it. Wolf Among Us. So yeah, I did play some Wolf Among Us. I talked about it, I guess, earlier. But episode 1, I got to the. I wish there was a way to import my stuff, but it's like whatever, dude. I love Wolf Among Us, and I was like, well, Big B Wolf will cheer me up. I need to go dispense some justice. That's like the theme because I felt wronged after episode 2 of Life is Strange. I was like, somebody's got to pay for this. So yeah, I was like, I'll show you, Woodsman and Crane, and I was like, it all came back to me. I was like, man, I forgot how awesome this game was, and like all these characters, and I can't wait for season 2, and so good, and just Telltale, you're awesome. But then it's so weird because it's like it got me pumped to play all the other stuff. So now it's like my plan is like every day to play an episode of something different from but then it's like I don't want to play any Walking Dead, so like, we'll see because it's like I've already had a downer like for the week, so it's like maybe not anytime soon I will be playing Walking Dead, but I would like to play something from Telltale every day and then get caught up on all my episodic games on my PS4 that I'm behind on because I bought them all on sale. So yeah, and I played them via Rhythm or whatever. It's via Rhythm. Oh, I played some Mass Effect as well. So I finally got past. Okay, where am I at in Mass Effect? So Mass Effect, I just finished Novaria. I let the Queen go, even though I'm a renegade, because I'm the renegade that's the renegade with the heart of gold. So I saved the Queen, but killed everybody else.
Wait, wait, what? What queen?
The Arachnite Queen.
Isn't that the renegade option?
No, the renegade option is to kill her.
Are you sure?
Yes, RPG.
Because I let her go, and I'm pretty sure I was renegade.
The Paragon
when I
option
played that.
is let her go. The neutral option is let her go, and the renegade option is to kill her.
Huh.
1,000%
Weird.
sure. And I recorded it.
So that means that actually something nice.
Whoops.
Weird. That totally didn't come back to bite me later.
And then I got the achievement for play through the majority of the game with Garrison Tally. So yay, we're almost there. And then I can go to Mass. Well, I'll be putting this on ice because it's disrupting me as well. So it's like Mass Effect. I played you enough. I'll come back to this and platinum it later, whatever. So it's like without you and Destiny in my life, I can get more things done and play more stuff. So that's gonna happen. But then now that Batman's on the cusp, I'm kind of getting the itch to play Batman. But it's like no. Can't play Batman. I mean, I will play because it's short, but luckily, yeah, I guess it's a good thing. It's like it's a short game, so I can play it in like one sitting. So, any of them. So, there's that. Because I'm kind of waiting to go back through and be like, man, just get the build up for the climactic showdown with the Arkham Knight, and read a bunch of Batman comics to be like, man, who could it be? Who could it be? Who could? Okay, I'm not gonna say.
I hope it's like somebody that's completely unexpected. Because if it's one of the obvious choices, then it's like,
Gordon.
Yeah. I would accept that. He's like, I had to do it, Batman, because there always has to be a villain, or there won't be a Batman. It's like, you're right, Gordon.
But yeah, that's all I've been playing.
Because I mean, can't have darkness without light, or something like that. Or it's the other way around. I don't know. Their thing, not mine. So that's fine.
So, are we in the news now?
Yeah.
Did you guys watch the Nintendo Direct?
No, I just read summaries.
Oh, dudes, whatever. I watched it, so I guess at
Was
least
it
one of us
exciting?
watched it. No, it was not. It's exciting. Dropped cool.
I just didn't. Well, see, that's why.
There we go.
I
don't know,
mean, there was
feel
like one
they would-
cool thing, but I mean, it depends on like how big of a. Well, it's so weird. Nintendo. It's like the thing is like
My thing is with Nintendo Directs, though.
it's kind of like a crapshoot of like will it scratch your itch for what you're wanting from Nintendo. So it's like
It's
for
really
me,
weird.
It's like, yeah, I could care less about Smash Brothers. I could care less about Mario Kart. I mean, the Yoshi's Woolly World amiibos look awesome because they're actually made of yarn. And then I got kind of angry when I saw there's so much DLC in microtransactions. I was like, oh, dude, like, they're like, we've seen the horse armor. Well, we made a farm of horses, and we're giving them all armor. Haha, unleash the horses. Something, something. And then,
Sorry.
but then there's the big thing for me was what's that game called with the flashlight? I tweeted it. I forgot.
Fatal
Yeah,
Frame.
yeah. Fatal Frame.
I was like, you're gonna have to be a bit more specific.
The Fatal Frame is coming to the States, so I was like, yeah. But then I'm kind of worried now because Zelda got delayed to next year, and I was like, well, Zelda was farther along than Star Fox, so maybe Star Fox could still come out this year. But then if it comes out this year, I feel like I'm in a bind because it's like it was a package deal for me. At first, it was like, okay, maybe I'll get Star Fox, Wii U if Star Fox come out, but now it's like, dude, if I'm looking at this lineup, it's like I got Star Fox. What else is there for me this year? Xenoblade Chronicles X. Psh, no, thank you. I have like other stuff to play, so it's like I think I'm just gonna wait for the Power Shop on the Wii U, and like I can hold out at this point. It's like I can hold out because I got so much on PS4. It's like, sorry Nintendo, you've done this to yourself, and I can see what you're doing with your whole. Ah man, it seems like they're just it's weird because it's like I don't like what they're doing, but like it makes sense because they're making money off of like all these amiibos, and it's like they had some card thing for I think it was like the Pokemon Match 3 puzzle game or something stupid. It's like I don't know, some game has like cards coming out, you can scan them too, just like amiibos. It's like I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing, Nintendo, and you're not gonna get me like you've gotten so many other people, and I'm not gonna be one of those people. I'm not doing this. No, and you're not gonna grab my teats and milk them all and take all my money. So no, it's not happening. I'm not your cow. So I'm going to move out of this farm. Goodbye. I mean, we already got divorced, but now you're not gonna milk me like that, okay? So it's not happening.
It's pretty crazy. Like the Wii U train has been very strange. There was that one time where like the concern with Nintendo systems is always like, will there be games? And like we know of certain games that will exist, but we don't know when they'll exist. So like the Marios and the Zeldas and things like that everyone's looking forward. And I think, it was like last E3 where it seemed like, okay, the future seems insured for Wii U. Like there does seem to be games.
Yeah, it's like after this Nintendo Direct, it seems like it's like after this Nintendo Direct, like if they don't show anything at E3, but then at E3 they said they're just going to focus on this year, but we already know it's this year, so it's like on the horizon it seems like it's not as bright as you would have thought it was 12 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's super weird.
Which is that's very sad. And then the other thing, like, the DLC thing is very disheartening, I guess, because I remember specifically where they said, "Oh, we're not going to do that because because of belief in like how you make games or something like that." Like they said that, right? That was a comment.
You can probably find it if you look it up on the
that they made, a few years ago.
Like, to me, it was like they were the last bastion of like the people who didn't do that to their user base. Now that they're kowtowing or however you say it, it's like, oh, even Nintendo's not above it. No, there is no hope for the gaming industry. They're all just leeches trying to drain me of my money. Oh, they don't love me.
It got really strange with Nintendo really quickly because like they talked about that. Then there was a while back they were like, oh, we're never gonna do mobile.
And the next thing.
Yeah, and now it's like, oh, now we're doing mobile. Now we have tons of DLC for basically everything. Like the summaries I read, it was mostly just DLC for lots of different types of stuff. So like Smash Brothers is getting DLC, more DLC for Mario Kart, Animal Crossing. The new one is going to have amiibo cards, which are basically DLC. And
that's what it was. Animal Crossing.
Woolly World's amiibos, that's DLC. Splatoon has amiibos, so that's DLC. And like amiibos are DLC basically, essentially.
Yeah.
Like expansion
ALC, like I said. Everything. Amiibo locked content. And then it was weird, like they showed amiibos will have like 90, it was stupid. It's like either 90 seconds, I'm sure it's not 90 seconds, that's too short, like 3-minute demos of like classic Nintendo games on them, but it's like randomly generated on the amiibo, so not every amiibo will have the same one if it's the same two type. So maybe you might double dip to get your 2-minute demo of your classic game that you love so much.
dear.
The amiibo thing, like, yeah, I do like the wool ones. That seems sort of neat. Yeah, the thing is, like, amiibos, I kind of like them, and yet I also feel that it's sort of out of hand. You know, the
I think it's
Skylander
already out
thing,
of hand, Tropical.
yeah, it's
After today,
already
it's
out of
out of
hand.
hand. It's out of
Well,
hand.
it's been out of hand already, like for months now. It's like the craziness that it generated, and even, you know, it wasn't even true scarcity. Like they're gonna re-release a lot of those, and then, you know, at this point, they're, I guess they want to make amiibos, but they don't really want to spend a lot of money on them. So wool ones are probably cheaper. Maybe the card ones are definitely cheaper than the little statues.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
It's just Nintendo, I think they had a lot more freedom to do what they wanted the way they wanted on the Wii because they were making tons of money on Wii and at the time DS, and then 3DS and Wii U aren't really at those levels. So now they're like, oh no, now what do we do? Like everyone wants us to make money, and like they've been, I guess, kind of forced into it. Like now they have to do mobile. Now they have to do DLC.
See, it's like the
Amiibos
DLC
is
is
like,
like on like one hand, even though I'm against it, it's like I do like to see them support products after they're out because that's kind of cool from Nintendo. 'Cause you don't usually see that, but it's like at the same time, I'd prefer if they didn't. Like it's like it's just like the way they show it, like in the videos. It's just like, you know, this is how much it's going to cost. It's like, oh, it feels just wrong when I see it. It's like
yeah, it's like a real
$5.99. It's
commodity.
like any other DLC. It's like, oh.
Because like Nintendo, when they talked about games, it never felt like business. Like it was always like,
Yeah.
oh, we're making these fun things, and you know, very in contrast to the other platforms, is like we don't know anything about the specs of a Wii U. We're just like, it's a box. Nintendo made it, and it comes with this other controller thing. You know, no one, we don't really have like they didn't announce, oh, it has this much RAM, it's this kind of GPU and this kind of CPU and these things, and it's going to process this quickly, and you can do this many calculations, and it's like we don't know any of that stuff. And like even when you look at the storage, like how much storage is in a Wii U, like you don't really know because they don't even tell you like gigabytes or megabytes or whatever. It's just like number of blocks, how many blocks this thing is going to take up. So it's like all the technical stuff that we worry about in every other area of gaming, like Nintendo never really felt like that. And then even like sort of the money side of it, we never really, you know, that was never sort of the forefront. It was always like, hey, this is the game that we're making, and then we worried about price later. But now it's like, oh, here's our store front. This thing is $5. Racing suits for 75 cents. Yeah, it feels very different now. And yeah, not nearly as exciting as it was at last E3. Like when I bought the Wii U, it seemed like, oh man, it's going to be really cool. But it hasn't really played out. Like some of those games, they're fun, but they're not, you know, it's still Nintendo. Like Kirby is fun, but it's still like a Nintendo game. You know, Donkey Kong is still a Nintendo game. These are just games that you play and not really, you know, like the games that I guess we're looking for anymore.
That's how I felt when they, like, their last announcement was basically 200cc in Mario Kart, and it's like, but then it's like so weird because like in that video it's like they say all these things about, oh well, you know, on the other, you know, it's like they had like a thing for every speed. It was like 50cc is like for beginners and it's just easy to play, blah blah blah. Where it's like 150cc is for experts, blah blah. I was like, but what about the rubber band? Like that was like that's not really the case because someone could just get a star or a lightning or a bunch of red shells, and then hey, 150cc's, dude. Yeah, it totally mattered because it didn't. So don't lie to me like that, Nintendo. Yeah, jerks. Eh. Then they get Donkey Kong in N64, which isn't going to come to the Wii, so I can't buy it. So just like Earthbound, I guess, you know, no, I guess that virtual console shop is closed on the Wii because I'm like, you need more of those awesome. Well, I guess Donkey Kong can still get one because it's whatever. I never played it, so whatever. But yeah, whatever. And I guess I never will because Or I won't for a while, because I'm gonna hold out for a price drop. $250 or lower. Sorry, Nintendo, gotta do it. Even if you do bring Star Fox, I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna be like, and here's the DLC and the amiibos. I'm like, no, and yeah, just like the first time I saw the amiibos, I was like, wait a minute, I can't get these without the amiibos, but I want it. No, and just yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. No, you're not gonna milk my teats. You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it. Eh.
Oh my.
Yeah, Nintendo. Oh, another thing that Nintendo. So, like, yesterday was the last day to redeem coins
Oh crap! It was
on Club Nintendo.
No.
You know what? It doesn't matter. Like, you didn't miss it by one day, because if you were trying to do it yesterday, you probably couldn't.
Yeah, I remembered after
I
remembered after the video, and I was trying to get to the site, and it was like not loading. I was like, crap.
Yeah, it's basically like right now. If you type in club.nintendo.com, you can't get on the site. It is insane. I actually did get up to 800. I had 800 some coins. I could have had another 300 or so yesterday, but yeah, it was just impossible. And then, so I actually did get to gold status. So like the gold and platinum status gifts are not that bad this year. I mean, they're still digital things, not awesome. Like I got the statue that one year. But yeah, I think this year I'm going to end up with Legend of Zelda: Link Between Two Worlds on 3DS for free. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Man, but there was so many conspiracy theories like, oh, today, they're ending it today, and then tomorrow during the Nintendo Direct, they're going to announce a new loyalty program, and then everyone's going to have to crash the Club Nintendo website again to go fight for the gifts or whatever. Like, whatever.
It's super weird though, because like usually when you see games, it's like they don't announce the DLC alongside it, or they don't like make specific things for the DLC. So it's like with this one, it's kind of it's like too transparent. Of oh, we're kind of not really here. Buy this. It's new. You know that game you have? Yeah, this works with it, and it costs money. Please buy it, because we want money and we like it, and we want to make our shareholders happy. I was like, oh, it's kind of in poor taste, Nintendo. Stop it. Oh.
Yeah. It's kind of amazing. I think like the Amiibo thing, they didn't announce it, but since the launch or since the announcement of Wii U, we knew that the controller could do that, right?
Yeah.
And then now, I don't know why it took so long for them to get it rolling. But then once they got it rolling, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, look at the money!"
Maybe it was Plan B Tropical. It's like, well, if the casual market doesn't catch fire like it did last time, we'll just do what we always do: fall back on our our dogged footy tricks. Haha! Yes, we did it. They showed a bunch of indie games though, but like there's just like Ninja or Pizza Ninja Girl or something. It looked interesting, but
that was a Kickstarter one.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, indie game stuff is getting
Crowded.
I think everything after the PlayStation 4. Well, yeah, just because they were first, I feel like that. Now everything just seems like Me Too. Like, yeah, we have it as well. Xbox One, yeah, we have indie games, and Nintendo, yeah, we have indie games, and it's like, well, then it's not really. Now everyone has it, so it's not really a selling point anymore.
Now it's just a matter of like, is this indie game any good?
Yeah, it's like, well, I could make an indie game tomorrow, but it's not going to be any good. I'm indie. I can make a game. It's just going to not be that good.
Oh, I guess they did show some Nintendo DS Virtual Console stuff. I don't know if they've shown it before on the Wii U.
On Wii U?
Yeah, like the way it works with the gamepad. Or they like, it's weird, it's like multiple different setups. Like you can play it on the gamepad, you can play it on the gamepad and the TV, or just like the way you could like have it go between both of them is interesting.
But other than that, it was basically a big Nintendo thing.
For the most part.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Here we are again.
Nothing major, you know. Well, it's weird because like they showed Mario Maker and like they showed that it's like also Mario's 30th anniversary, but it's like, what else are they doing for Mario's 30th anniversary? Anything special? No, that's kind of sad. That makes me want to cry.
Just gonna release an annual Mario Party and Mario Maker in September.
It's like I know,
There we
like
go.
what the f? Like Luigi gets his own year. It's Mario's 30th anniversary. What does he get? Jack Squat. What the f, Nintendo? Seriously. Someone really got the shaft there. Spoiler, it's Mario. Doesn't even get his own year. Well, I guess it's his year all the time, so I guess Luigi kind of deserved it, but yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
Oh, they showed the Persona Fire Emblem game finally,
Not Persona, it's SMT.
or whatever.
And that trailer makes no sense. Because it doesn't look like
It's a real
either
world where
game.
fantasy thingy dimension, whatever.
I don't know. I don't know
Or
what that
whatever
is.
they said.
I was watching the trailer and I was like, what the hell is this? It doesn't even look like distinctly Fire Emblem or SNT. It's just like I would not have been able to identify them if I didn't know beforehand that what that trailer was for. So I was just like, what is going on here?
I wonder if it's
So,
gonna be
I'm-
like
I'm
Project
concerned.
Zone.
I'm worried.
And they showed more Street Pass stuff, but it's all microtransaction, just like that one with the rabbit that you haggle with. So,
Ah,
so I was like, ooh, more Street Pass games, and I was like, oh, they cost money. Never mind. I wonder. It's really weird how like they wouldn't just say like they had DLC for these, and then like if they did good, come back and start making more of them. Because we only know they're gonna like a certain amount for the Mario Kart, so that's kind of weird. But it was cool they had this thing for Super Smash Brothers, where it's like they have a thing where you can like write in who you'd want to be, or who you would like to see in the game, and they might like take your fan request and put them in the game. So that could be neat. But at this point, I don't know who you would really vote to be added that's not in there. Unless it's like a newer game or something.
sign it like a Splatoon thingy.
Yep.
Sad Nintendo.
So, is there any other news this week? Oh, the Batman PS4.
Yeah, that's. Oh, it looks really good. Although, why don't they just sell faceplates? Like, I understand wanting to sell more
Didn't
consoles.
Oh yeah, maybe they'll like sell it after the fact.
I hope so.
We'll
Well,
see.
is this the first like limited edition PlayStation that's coming out in the US?
Besides the Destiny one.
But the Destiny one was just a white PS4,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Unless we get the Metal Gear Solid one. But we
Mm.
won't because we're not Japan.
Japan.
Yeah, they should just sell faceplates. I think it.
I don't have to.
Yeah, or maybe after the fact too. Just do both. Like you can sell your fancy console and then sell faceplates, and then that's gonna make you more money, right? You have two products, but you're really only making one new thing. So, yeah.
Maybe they can consult with Microsoft and see how hot the faceplate commodity is, because they did like that with the Xbox 360. So
I guess that's sort of true, and yet, but like the faceplates that they've been selling for PS4, like those are basically all sold out, or the good looking ones anyway.
Good, good, yeah.
So either they made very few of them, or it's actually doing okay.
But yeah, I like the silver controller, so I'm hoping to get that the day the game comes out, and it'll be my back controller.
I'm still waiting for the red one.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It's so sad. How come we only have the blue one?
I have no idea.
Actually, yeah, so I think the Assassin's Creed Chronicles thing, that's
Oh yeah.
now a standalone game.
What was it
A
supposed to be?
standalone episodic game. I think it was part of the season's pass for Unity,
Wow,
which they canceled.
that's crazy.
But it was only going to be one part. It was the China part. But now they've added a
Russia
19,
and India.
India one. So now there are three.
That was kind of weird
So
though.
that's gonna be interesting. I'm actually not excited, but interested in
See,
seeing
it's like
them.
I saw it and I was like, I think those settings would be cool in the traditional Assassin's Creed engine and not just like a 2D side-scrolling thing. But
Mm.
whatevs. Especially the Russia one because it's like it seems too modern. I was
Yeah,
like,
that one was like it's in what 1918 they said.
yeah.
So where will Assassin's Creed go in the fall?
But I'm off that train
Um,
anyway, so sounds like you're never gonna get me
yeah,
back.
'cause I don't think I've played since 3, so I'm probably like really behind.
Uh, just two away,
That's really behind.
2 or 3 away.
I don't care enough to catch up.
Yeah, I was about to say like, you'd be inclined to play one every year since they're out every year now. So have fun catching up. Have fun catching up on your yearly Assassin's Creed train.
It's not worth the trouble.
Did Zelda get delayed this week or was that last week?
Mm, it may have been this week.
Because after I saw that, and I was, at first I didn't care until I saw the Nintendo Direct, and I was like, wait a minute, they didn't show Star Fox. The Star Fox is probably a little farther along than Zelda. That means unless they just want to crap it out there and put it out, it's not coming out until next year. Either. No. Now I'm all worried because I don't know the fate of Star Fox. But I guess at isn't there aren't they gonna be showing Star Wars whatchamacallit soon? Battlefront 3.
Yeah, April 17th.
Star Wars Celebration. So
Yeah. Oh,
that'll be nice.
there was an infographic that was released. Apparently, the new Battlefront takes place after A New Hope, but before Empire Strikes Back. So it's in
Hmm.
the original trilogy.
So it's in the what was that called? Shadow of the Empire time. Oh wait,
Was that?
that's after the Empire. Never mind.
Yeah.
So it's before then. Hmm.
Should be. So that's yeah. We didn't know that before.
Huh. That is gonna be interesting. So after the Battle of Yavin, but before the Empire destroys everybody, or starts, you know, burning worlds, taking names, hunting for rebels.
That should be pretty cool. Yeah, that one's exciting. I can't really think of any other news. Just trying to get through my games now. Oh, like Battlefield Hardline is $40 this week. And I think it's because Easter is coming up. And they're just like, that's why there's a ton of game sales this week. But it is sort of surprising to see. Like, it came out, what, 2, 3 weeks ago?
It was recent. I think it was the same
Yeah.
week as Bloodborne because RPG's like, why do they have a DJ? when I went to go
Oh
pick this
yeah,
game
that's
up.
right. So not even like that was last week then.
No, it was during Type Zero's week, not Bloodborne.
Oh yeah,
So it was like the 17th.
Because that's when I was confused. 'Cause I was
Yeah.
like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's already down $20 for the week. And I was sort of tempted, like I do want to play it, but so much other stuff. I was like, whatever. I'm not gonna play it then. Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Alrighty. So that is it for this episode. Guess we'll sign off now.
Check us out at aimlesspodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. Subscribe to the Twitch thing, or I think you follow on that one. And iTunes. Subscribe there.
Anything to say for you before we sign off?
Don't eat babies. That's bad. Also, video games.
Alright. So, until next episode, will we continue the game finishing trend that we've been on the last couple of weeks? Or will we crash and burn? Just like... oh, I don't want to go there. I'm not going to say it. So, yeah. Yeah. See you until you see or hear me again. Find out on the next episode of Aimless Babble Z.